Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Tuesday, and on Tuesday, we talk social media with Terry Johnson online, all the way from New York City. We're so excited to have her in the audience because we always learn something new about how to run our businesses on social media. So we'll want to send a shout out to my partner, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. She is streaming for customers today, so we wish her well, and we wish her well in her real estate business. Now, before we get started, I just want to remind you guys, you best get a pencil and paper because there's going to be some great information shared today. We want you to sit back, take part in the conversation, share it with your friends, let them know there's a really important conversation going on over here about how to handle social media. So without further ado, I introduce to some, present to others, Miss Terry Johnson online all the way from New York City.
Hey! Wow, that is such a great introduction today. You are really, did you have oatmeal this morning?
I had vitamins this morning.
No, I love it. I love it. Because we have to keep the spirit up. I mean, because everything is so,
it can get a little much.
Everybody out there, they know what this is. I mean, I'm not even going to say the word. You know what it is, and there's talk of a second wave, and we're not going to, we're going to try to keep the spirits up there. So I'm glad that you're so excited. Because
I was saying hi to Khalid.
Oh, okay. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Khalid. How are you? How are you doing? Great. I was just saying that it's infectious, that we should keep the spirit up. Now, I love that we have such an exciting, yay! I'm loving it. So welcome everybody. This is our weekly marketing chat where we talk all things digital marketing. We talk social media strategy. We talk about content marketing, SEO, branding, websites, all of those things that you need to know about to run a business or even start a business online. There's so much information out there that we try to keep it simple. That's our motto, right? We keep it plain, simple, real talk. And this gets into today's topic. There are acronyms, so people we try not to do acronyms because you've seen them, right? There's a new one, WFH. You know what that one is? So you know what that? Yeah, everybody knows what that one is, right?
Well, we're going to tell them because we don't want them guessing.
WFH, work from home. So those acronyms, that's going to be a basis of what we're talking about today. I spelled it out for you. It says know your audience. So we're going to talk about KYA. And I see a lot of that online, and I'm like, wait a minute, people might not know what that is. So we got to explain what KYA. Yeah, we have to explain what KYA is. It's an acronym. Acronyms are popular because instead of saying a mouthful of words, you say an acronym, a shortened abbreviation form of the phrase. It's usually the first letter of each word in the phrase. Okay, so that's the explanation right there.
Now, herein lies the problem, Terry. Remember, we both used to work for the government, and it was alphabet soup, depending on what department you were in, right? And now I feel like, okay, now they're trying to turn the internet into alphabet soup. I mean, well, not the internet, but in terms of us understanding how to use it.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you're building our vocabulary. I want to thank you for that.
Yes, that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. That's what I said. Our model is keeping it plain, simple. There's so much information out there, and I always say the internet is a wonderful thing, but it's also not a good thing because if you get confused easily, there's so much information. So you have to know how to filter it. So think of this place as the filter. So you come here every Tuesday. in this same place, Marketing Chat, and we're going to filter out that information that you need to know. Because if you're a business owner, or if you're starting a business, you have to get right down to the nitty gritty, the core of the thing, and you don't have time to try to figure out this, that, and the other, right? So you need a place where it is explained simply, presented plainly, and makes sense. So
yes.
That's our motto. So with all of that said, welcome to the show. And well, not the show. We stopped calling the show. Welcome to this week's chat. And I want to ask you to share this to your profile, to wherever you are. We are streaming on many different platforms. You know how to share on the platform that you're on. And why is this important, the sharing? Because sharing is caring. You want to share the information that you're getting. And like I just said, we share it and we say it plainly and simply, and try to make you understand it in the simplest way possible. So wouldn't you want to give that to someone else? And you do that by sharing it on your profile, your platform, the app, wherever you are now. I ask you to share it out. And thank you. Thank you for doing so. We really appreciate you being here and that you do that. Also, I always forget to say the replay gang. Hashtag replay gang. What is hashtag replay gang? That means the people like you, if you're watching right now because we go live on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time. But if you're watching this outside of that time frame, and I know a lot of people do, you're part of the replay gang, and we welcome you also. So you say what's on your mind. Put in hashtag replay gang. Let us know where you are, what's going on in your world today, what are you working on? And another thing, any questions that you guys have, please put them in the chat, because we are here for a discussion, not for a lecture. So I always say that we're here to say, hey, how can we help? Jerry's here. Good morning, Jerry. Glad you're here. Everybody else, if you're watching, please let us know, because it's important to know about your audience. And that ties into what we're talking about today. We want to know where you are. We want to know what's going on in your world. We want to know what questions you have. We want to know what kind of help you need. I can look at all of the information, and I do on a daily basis. It consumes my day sometimes, trying to keep up with all the things that's going on with digital marketing. So I need to know if what we're talking about on these weekly chats, are they helping? Are they reaching you? Or is it something you can use? Is it something you don't understand, or you don't use, or you don't need, and you go, well, I don't need information on that. I need information on XYZ. Well, let me know what XYZ is. And you can do that by putting it here in the chat, or you can find me, Terry Johnson Online. Just Google it. You'll find me, and whatever platform you like to use, whatever app, it's always a messaging feature. Use that, reach out, say, hey, I want to know about XYZ and marketing, or I have a question about this with marketing or my business, or I'm not sure. Any of those things, let us know. That's what we're here for. It's not just to chat. Talking is great, but helping is better. I love that. Helping is better.
I like that.
Yeah, it's better. Right?
Yes. That's a slogan. Okay. We need to write that down.
Yeah, well, good thing we're recording it. Oh, speaking of that, just give me a quick second, guys. I want to set something that I didn't.
So I put that in the chat, guys. Talking is great, but helping is better.
I'm going to use that today.
Yeah, I have a friend who used to say, talk is cheap. It takes money to buy land. Okay.
Oh. Really? I like that one too. I thought you were going to say, what's that? There's the other saying about talk is cheap.
Talk is cheap.
There's another one.
There is another one, and I can't recall.
Yeah, I can't. I'm losing it today. So, if anybody out there knows that talk is cheap,
or is that just the end of the saying? Talk is cheap.
No, listen. Well, I thought there was another part of it.
To it, though. Yeah. Let me see. Let me Google that while we're talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, Google that. That's what I was saying. I was going to Google it, but I was like, okay, we're doing something else, so I'll Google it later. But talk is cheap. So, but we want to help. We're here to help. So always take advantage of help when it's available. I do. So, I mean, I'm not perfect. No one here, we're not saying we're perfect, but I will share what I know with you. And if I have the answer, I will give it to you or find it. That was like I did that for 10 years with the government. I had to have the answer. There was no, and even one time I remember this with our division boss, and I had to do something for the regional administrator, and he was like, you have to find the answer because it's the regional administrator. It's like the top boss of this area. So I can't go to, I believe it was, I'm not sure who it was, but I can't go to them and say, well, I don't know. So he was like, well, you got to go find the answer. And guess what I did? So that was my job to have the answer. So I have the answer. If I don't know, if I don't have it in here, I know where to find it. All right. So today's topic, know your audience, or acronym KYA. I saw that online because I never used the acronym KYA, and I saw it in an article I was reading online, and I was like, wait a minute, these acronyms are getting out of hand. WFH, KYA, YOLO, all of these. And if you're, this is the deal. If you're not online a lot like I am, I know you're not, because that's not your job. You're running businesses. I mean, you can be online, and I do recommend. I do recommend that you go online, which means if you're on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn or whatever, go in the morning for 15, 20 minutes. Make the time to do that, and then try to check in.
Tachi may know what that phrase means. Talk is cheap. Tachi, you know the rest of that phrase. Could you put it in the chat?
Yes. It's talk is cheap, but something. Right? Yes. It came up because we were talking about talk is cheap and something else, but I was like, there's another saying. I just want to talk about these things because I know what they are. Like Terralina said, we both work for the government. The government is full of acronyms because there's so much forms and form this and that, and you got to. So we had to know all the acronyms, so we're comfortable with them. But I know a lot of people aren't familiar or comfortable with acronyms, and they're popping up all over the place. And if you're not online a lot like I am, you're going, what's going on? What's going on? So I'm here to tell you what's going on. So we're going to talk about KYA, which is know your audience, which is one of the tenets, the rules of digital marketing. I don't think you can get really anything going if you don't know your audience, right? I mean, okay, you want customers, but their audience members first. Their audience members, part of the group that they discover you online, they see your content, they read what you're saying, they might follow you. Remember the know, like, and trust. Well, know your audience. This is the know part. Don't want to go straight to marriage. Like we always talk about dating, and I love the dating acronyms and fishing and gardening because they all fit. There's a period where you have growth, but there's an initial meeting or an initial planting or an initial anything. So with dating, we like to talk about that because that's fun, right? I mean, there's an initial attraction, initial meeting, or there's something that get the two people together, right?
Yes.
And then at the long end of a relationship, and it can go fast or slow, that depends on the two people in the relationship, there might be marriage at the end of that or some kind of long-term commitment, but you don't go from the first date to that, right?
Right. We do not want your first date to just be a booty call. Okay. Hi, how you doing? Would you like some coffee? Let's go to bed.
No. That's not what that happens, but that's not going to end. That's not going to go to the end with the long-term relationship or the marriage. I mean, some people are thinking that happens, and it might have once or twice in millions of instances, but that's not the norm. That's not usually what happens. So knowing your audience means that you gotta get to know them. You gotta try to know everything you need to know about
Which,
them, right? Is that, are
which
we in
means you
agreement with
might
that?
have to court them, right?
Oh, there's that word. I wonder if kids use that. They don't. I
I
know they
don't
don't.
know.
They don't.
I
I
don't
know
think
they don't.
so.
They have Netflix and chill and whatever it is now because we're
Mhm.
in a pandemic. Before the pandemic, it was Netflix chill. Now it is something
I
else
guess it's
entirely. I don't
Zoom and chill. I don't know.
Zoom and
FaceTime
chill.
and chill.
Tell it said Zoom and chill. I love that. Probably. I don't know what they're
Mhm.
doing. It's so many things to think about. It's just one of the things I wonder. And I'm go, what? How are they dating? Is
Well,
there
you know,
dating?
and back in the day, they used to use a lot of Marco Polo anyway, and which is an app, and then Snapchat and just things to send messages that would go away. Sort of
Yeah, but
mysterious. Put the mystery back in the
but the
dating thing.
dating part where you went to a restaurant or you went out to the movies, that part is not happening.
Well, I think it's
Or is it?
it's happening virtually. I looked on a couple of sites because remember Facebook opened up that dating app.
Oh, I forgot.
So back when they first opened it up, I started looking at other dating sites to see what are they doing, and
Mm-hmm.
they were actually um, doing things like FaceTime, and they would set the table on both ends, and everybody had their glass of wine. They'd sit there and talk like they were in a restaurant.
Okay, I mean, I understand that they have to do that, but that does not appeal to me. So I'm glad I don't have to do
Well,
that.
you're not at that stage.
Um, I honestly, I wonder. I'm like, how are they getting to know each other? Where are they meeting? I know some states and some places they're still face to face restaurants and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but not really in the states that care about the transmission and the spread. They're trying to tamp that down. I mean, you could still go, like here in New York, you can go to the restaurant and they have outdoor. They've all expanded the outdoor section. It used to be on the sidewalk, now it's actually in the street. And I'm like, how do the cars get by if the restaurants are taking up the street? But that's another thing.
But
But
then too, how many cars should there really be if people aren't moving around that much?
well, there's a lot of well, see, here's the thing. There's still traffic in New York. There's still delivery traffic because
Uh-huh.
things have to be, this is,
Goods
UPS,
have to move.
yes, goods and services have to move. So I'm not thinking of traffic as in, and we don't get a lot of that anyway. It's more delivery and cabs and taxis and Ubers and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that than someone personally driving their car. I mean, we have a little bit of that. This is a mass transit city, used to be before all of this, but it is still a lot of street traffic. No
Mm.
matter that people are staying home and work from home, things have to be delivered. Goods and services, grocery stores, delivery, UPS. That's what I
And
mean. So
and maybe Terry, maybe people are just taking a walk. They're putting their mask on, saying, "I'll meet you for a walk," or "I'll meet you at Starbucks. I'll order something. We'll take it out." And
right. See, the way the way the restaurant sidewalk business works here, they have to have a permit, and there weren't a lot of those being given out before this because you need pedestrian walkway on the sidewalk. But what I'm saying is now the restaurants have taken up the entire sidewalk
mm-hmm.
and they push into the street, like the tents and stuff. So pedestrians have to walk. They make a little thing in the street between the tent and the one side. So a street instead of 2 lanes is one now. That's what they're
Oh,
doing. It doesn't work.
okay.
It doesn't work. I mean, it's working a little bit because work from home, and most people aren't going out past
Mm-hmm.
their neighborhood. So I see how they're doing that, but I'm like, that can't last.
Mm-hmm.
That can't last. But let's get off the restaurant thing. It was just
Yeah.
something I was thinking because we were talking about the dating. But why I want to say why is knowing your audience important, because you have to create content that your audience wants, what they need. So how can you give somebody something they want or need if you don't know the group of you're talking to? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how do you get to know them? That's a good question. Observation, right? Same thing with
Uh-huh.
dating. when there's an initial meet, but there's a period of talking, or what used to be. I don't know what they do now. They texting, story chatting, Snapchatting, whatever.
It's still talking.
Right, but that's the gathering information part. So you have to do that. But how do you gather the information? Observation, talking. In the case of your audience, you can talk to them because we have live tools. We have live streaming. We have all kind of tools that let you connect to your audience. You need to figure out which tool your audience prefers, and how do you do that? By testing. So there's a lot of testing. That's why this relates to dating, because dating is testing. And initial, you're saying one thing and you want to see how the other person responds to it. Oh, I like avocados. And the other person, it comes up in the conversation naturally, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm just throwing it out there. If you talk about something about a TV show and they had avocados and the person goes, ew, then you kind of know. Right,
but you might not want to send them avocados.
Right, you might not want to go to the Mexican. Well, you can go to the Mexican restaurant. Used to, but you can't order the guacamole because this person doesn't like. See how that you derive that information from observation and talking and asking. So this is saying everything, the way it works offline, it works online. So it's just that you're not face to face. You're talking to.
I never really thought of it that way, that dating was observation. But now that you break it down that way, it really is, if you're paying attention.
Yeah. So let's say the dating scenario. You're say they were at a club. This is all the stuff I'm saying is pre-pandemic. But if you were at a club or a bar or something and you saw a girl or a guy walk by, isn't that observation? Yeah. And then you take it further, saying, oh, I would like to know that person better. How would I get their attention? Take them away. Buy them a drink, say, hi, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you. Or you look familiar. There are tons of ways, and that's the dating section where there are tons of things. But it all starts with observation, asking questions, seeing what the person likes or doesn't like, likes and dislikes. And then everybody tailors their thing accordingly to, I'm trying to track this person, so I'm going to either hide the fact that I like avocados, or I'm going to say, oh, you know what? I got an idea. You never had avocados like this. Let me make it better. Or let me take you out. See how all those things lead from the observation. So that's why I said dating is great analogy.
Because usually, like if you're at a bar, people say, well, what are you drinking? Oh, and then the conversation might, develop around what you're drinking. Right. Oh, my friend drinks that. Da, 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 da.
That's an observation, right? You see the person drinking this drink or wearing this thing or something that you notice, and you say, well, that's my end. That's my inroad to conversation where I can get the attention and possibly attract this person. But it takes the form of more than one thing. So that's why when I say know your audience and creating content that an audience loves and craves, you're going to create more than one thing. You're not going to create one thing and drop it. So, well, I got them. You do that in dating, you ask another question, or you lead it forward to, well, I want to get a date.
It's Jerry's birthday. Happy birthday, Jerry.
Oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday. That's great. Have a wonderful day. And so, I mean, that's why we tie these things work in the same way, the same system, where you have to know, well, who is this person? Who is your audience? What are they? Are they mostly male, mostly female, a certain age group? That's why I talk about age groups a lot and generations and stuff like that, because each generation, each age group reacts and likes things differently. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Have a great day. They have that, they have to get to know the other person in order for the relationship to progress. Because we always say here that social media is a tool for communication. It's not selling. You can sell on it. Yes, Instagram is going forward with that because and Facebook, because they have live streaming where you can sell your products. So yes, but that is not the road to success that everybody thinks. I can just get on, put on, post 3 pieces of content, and people are going to buy my thing or buy my product, my service. And then when it doesn't happen the way they envisioned it in their mind, because they see other people successfully selling and making millions, it doesn't work like that way, because the person that's making millions of dollars or whatever, it took them a long time. Let's take, for example, Pat Flynn. If you don't know Pat Flynn, he's the creator of Smart Passive Income is his website, one of his websites. Excuse me. And Pat Flynn is a very successful person now. He's written books. He was an in-demand speaker when they were doing in-person events. He's like the guy you want to get. But he didn't start out this way. And I was I was a part of a summit or something. This is why I know so much about him, that he was explaining his progress. So about 10, 11 years ago, I think, with the last recession, one of the big recessions, I can't remember, we had so many, that he was trying to get a job, or he was studying to be an architect and he couldn't get a job. And there's some kind of test that the architects have to take for certification or something. I'm not sure on, I'm not real on the details, but he knew how to pass the test. So he created an ebook.
He created the workbook.
He created an ebook or workbook about passing this architectural test to be an architect or whatever. So that went so well that he was like, I think this internet thing is going to be something. Remember, this is like 10, 11 years ago. So, we're in it for space now, but he was like, this might be something. So he did something else. He created another ebook or product or something, and that went well. He sold it, that went well. Then he started to, go on social and do stuff on social, and he was going to all of the events as a speaker, social media marketing world, one of the big ones, content marketing world. It's all of the online events that happened back then. So he built up his reputation as a speaker, as someone who, and then he wrote a book, and then he wrote a couple books, and he built his reputation as someone who knows how to navigate and make money online with the information that you have or the experience you have. So Pat Flynn is now, he's successful. He makes millions of dollars a year. He's talked about on his blog. He used to do income reports. That was the thing. I don't know if they're still doing it, but every successful blogger was putting up monthly reports saying, this is what I made from blogging. This is what I made from selling ebooks. This is what I made from whatever the activities on the internet. So he became a very successful person. So now here we are, 2020. He's like one of the top names, but he didn't start out that way. He started out what? He started out, I don't, it's a recession. I don't have a job. I have this information. The internet is building up. He was at the foresight, the foremind, the attitude of, let me investigate this, and he's a young guy. So of course there's the curiosity factor. And then he goes, I might be able to make some money off of this. But he did it in a stair kind of thing, where it was one thing. He didn't set out to go, I'm going to do everything. He knew his audience, because one, it was architects, people that went to architectural school that wanted to pass this test in order to be certified. That's a pretty definitive audience. That's not like, well, who's your audience? People that like jewelry. That's pretty broad. So he was like, okay, these are people that need to pass this test to become an architect. I know, because I passed the test, I know how to help people study for it. So I'll make a study guide and I'll sell it. And here we are. So if you want to, if you don't know who Pat Flynn is, just go to Smart Passive passiveincome.com, I think is his website, or just Google Pat Flynn. All of the stuff will come up. But like I said, I was in a summit with him. Well, not it with him. I mean, we watching the summit, and he was talking about email marketing, but he started out talking about himself. And I just thought that journey was great, because you have to know your audience. That's part of what we're saying about the dating, about the observation, about knowing the right questions, and then learning how to get the next thing. In dating, it's the next date. In business, it's the next customer. But where do your customers come from? Your audience. How do you get an audience? You have to have knowledge about a particular topic or subject, and you have to speak on it, right? And then you gather people, and your audience grows, and then your customer comes out of that. Because everybody in your audience is not going to be a customer. Your audience is people that are attuned or attracted to what you're seeing and doing online. Okay. Now, in the old days before pandemic, and if you had a brick and mortar, how did you get more customers to come in your store? Well, you advertised. But now we're in a different place where people aren't coming into your store. So you got to develop an audience online, which means starting with the attraction and the observation. Remember, that's why we're talking about the dating, because it's a long path. It's called a customer journey, but they all start out in your audience. So that's why you have to know them. And what I mean, know them, what do they like? Do they video? Do they like audio? Word? Do they like to read? And you do that by testing, by observation, by making a post and saying, okay, I'm going to save this and put this picture and see what the reaction is. Oh, not too much reaction. Okay, so I'm going to do some video and then have it formatted a certain way and post it on. All of the limits for online is usually 30 seconds, whatever. If you're doing a story, there's limitations, but you're going to try that video and see what kind of reaction you get. And you're also going to try it in different places. That's what Instagram, Facebook come into place, where they have so many places for you to create content. And remember, I talked about this last month. How do you know what works? Analytics. So you want to do a lot of that. But it all starts with KYA, know your audience. That's the most important. Well, I don't think it's the most important. It's one of the more important parts and aspects of digital marketing. It's one of those rules that this is the thing you're going to have to do. You're going to have to know the audience, because if you don't know them, you're just shooting in the dark. It's like, target practice in the dark. Well, you can't see the target, so how are you going to hit it? See? So you kind of have to do some work. And yes, this is a lot of work. I'm going to tell you now. There is no set and forget it. Pat Flynn had the Smart Passive Income website, but when he started it, whenever 10, 12 years ago, that was a thing. Passive income. Everybody wanted to know how to do it, but there's no such thing. Honestly. Not at the beginning, at the end, because Pat Flynn's an example of that. He has passive income because he's written books. He's built up his brand from speaking. He, I believe he even developed a camera stand for live streamers that they went crazy over, and the thing sold all kind of, he made a bunch of money off of that. But those things take effort in the beginning, which is why I'm bringing him up. He made a lot of effort in the beginning with one thing, a guide, but it grew into this path of creating things because he knew his audience. He knew what they wanted. So it turned from architectural guide, a guide for architects to pass this test, to people need help with growing and starting a business online. So that's where he is now. But he started out with this one little piece called The Architect's Guide, passing this test. And people ate it up, and he saw the result of that and said, wait a minute, there's something here. Let me investigate. Let me know my audience. Let me figure out who am I talking to, making the content for them to attract them to become the passive income where he can do other things. his books will sell because he wrote a couple books. They're on Amazon, so he can promote them a little, but they're already created, so he can move on to something else to create. Like he created this stand. I think it's a portable stand for your camera that collapsible and whatever. But how did he discover that? He knew what his audience wanted because live streaming started to get big. This was like a year or two ago, live streaming at events, and people needed something that was comfortable in their hand and they can use with their camera or their smartphone. And he developed that. So now that's another piece of the puzzle where I made that I can move on because that thing is going to sell. Okay, so that's where the true growth, the true essence of passive income is. People think, okay, I'm going to make something and I'm going to sit on the beach and drink Mai Tais, and this thing is just going to happen for me without any. See, this is the picture conveys no effort, but it does. You have a whole ton of work that you had to do in the beginning, and people don't realize that. And I've seen a couple people and talked to them, and they're like, "Oh, that's too much work." Okay, I don't make any effort to try to convince them because I'm like, yes, it is a lot of work. If you're not ready to work, it's not going to happen. So this is where I get to the part where I see a lot online and in real person where people go, social media doesn't work, ads don't work, this don't work, that don't. Well, I'm like, well, if it doesn't work, why is people like Pat Flynn making millions of dollars a year? And he's not a scammer. He's the total opposite of scamming. He doesn't scam you. Says, oh, he has a book called Will It Fly? It's about, will your idea take off? Online or online, offline or online. People buying that book. It must be something people want because they're buying it, right? Know your audience. Yes. He made the camera stand. Know your audience. He made the initial guide, the architect guide in the beginning. Know your audience. That's where it begins. But you have to put in the work of knowing them, asking the right questions, and going forward. We said with dating, the successful date leads to another successful date, right? But there's a lot of talking. Yeah, hopefully. But see, there's a lot of talking. Like I said about, well, somebody not liking avocados and you like avocados. Well, you're going to say, well, I kind of like this person. I might, agree with them. Or I might hide the fact that I like them, and whenever we go out. But see, those are things you do to attract that person. So that's why I would say dating. Right. That's why I say dating.
That's why we build a profile, isn't it, Terry?
Yes. Yes, that's part of knowing, attracting your audience, your profile. Here's the thing. I want everybody to get this out of your head. Everybody is not your customer. We say that a lot here. I'm going to put it up somewhere behind me. Everyone is not your customer. Oh, I'm going to start a business and da. Who's your customer? Everybody. If you think everybody is your customer, nobody's going to be your customer. They're not. You have to talk to a specific audience, and it's never more relevant than today's time, because guess what? Everybody's at home. Mostly. There's some people that are still out, but whatever. Most people are staying at home and they want things to come to them. So that means that you have to be very specific, because I'm at home and you're thinking, well, I'm just going to buy anything. No, I'm not. I have to be attracted to it first. Here's the dating analogy. I have to be attracted. How do you get attracted? Observation, asking questions, seeing what somebody might like, and making it boom. Oh, attracted. So another thing with the dating, if and this is with friends, if trying to set up friends, what your friend like. So you're not going to set them up with somebody who doesn't fit any of those qualities, because that's going to be a disaster, a waste of time. So that's what we're saying. Know your audience so you don't waste time online. And don't get frustrated and give up and say, this doesn't work. It does work. But you have to put in the work. You have to know your audience. That's how I can say it plainly. Are there any questions about this? I don't know. I don't think it's a statement. I think it's a major part of digital marketing. It's like one of the things it's a step that you can't leave out. It's an ingredient you can't leave out if you're making a pie or you're making something. What you can't leave flour out, right? Well, you can, but
I like
it tastes
that.
better. It's better if you put the flour in.
Yes.
If you're making brownies, you need flour. Would you leave it out? No.
It would be kind of sticky, yeah.
So this is like, so knowing your audience, the KYA is like one of the ingredients in your digital marketing strategy you're not going to leave out. It's very important. And it's not everybody's your customer. You have to really dig deep and figure out, well, I'm in this industry. What piece can I get into where people they need something, they want to be entertained, or they need to be educated on, and that's my in. That's my thing that I can get in. And I can make a difference and stand out and help somebody and also make a business out of it because you're meeting a need. See, if you're not meeting anyone's need with your product or service, your business, you don't have one because you're not meeting a customer's need. You're not filling a need. You're not fixing a problem. You just go, well, okay, I'm going to, t-shirt business is really hot right now. I'm going to make a t-shirt business. We don't really need that unless you got something really specific to say moms or pregnant moms or people that like motorcycles or Christmas but specific Christmas items, a culture, a race, an area, something like that. It can't just be, I'm going to make t-shirts because it's popular and everybody's making money. Buying a t-shirt, especially now, is online and you got to hit the right audience and it's got to be a targeted audience. It can't be, I'm going to sell my t-shirt to all women. But women are different ages, different sizes. They're into different things. They like different things. There's moms, there's single women, there's this, there's that. How you gonna attract them, boo? Know your audience. Know your audience. I'm gonna leave it there and see what the questions and comments are in the chat. Tachi says, right, see? Right.
Well, she runs a t-shirt business.
Yeah.
She understands that the fit is important, that people want a certain quality of the shirt. They don't want to put it in a washing machine or wash it and find out that the logo
style
comes off or whatever. Yes.
The design is very important. She has a very specific design style that she uses. I can tell just from looking at the t-shirts. I mean, I didn't get that from her. I'm just saying that I know.
Yes, and people are willing, different audiences have different price points.
Right, but you still have to it's all about style, and that's how you're going to attract certain people. And again, like I said, everyone's not your audience, so get that out of your head and don't think, well, this group isn't buying from me. Well, they don't like what you're doing. So why does that concern you?
And it's okay.
It's okay. Focus on the people that want your product, your service. Focus on the people that want what you have. And how do you get those people? Know your audience. You have to find them, and you have to do a lot of work of testing. So I always say, so your social media, your digital marketing strategy is either time or money. Time or money. Your time or your money where you pay somebody else for their time to do it for you. There's only two things to decide which way you want to go. Doing it your time takes away from your business. Also, it takes a lot of time to either learn how to do everything on that platform or create your strategy. That's why you might want to pay somebody to do that for you. Those are the two options. I'm sorry, but it's either time or your time or your money.
Makes sense.
And it involves a lot of work. I'm going to tell you that right now. It involves a lot of work.
The thing is, you can't ask someone to do something for you if you don't know what you want. And you got to sit down and figure out what are you looking for that to achieve. Even if you're not going to actually do it, you have to be able to give people some direction.
Yes.
So that, or you won't be happy because you say, well, that's not what I meant. Well,
It's like your financial situation. Do you just hand everything over to an accountant or a tax attorney or whoever and say, here, you deal with it? Well, that's how a lot of people get their money stolen, because they don't know anything. You have to know a little bit about it. You don't have to be the expert. They're the expert, but you got to know a little bit about that subject so you know what is right and what is wrong. See, you can't just hand it over. There's no set it and forget it in anything. Don't do that, because you're going to either, it's not going to work, someone's going to take your money, or someone's going to steal from you. Don't set it and forget it. Don't do that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, guys. Well, that's today's topic. I'm glad that we had the chance to talk about it. It was one of the things that I felt like we needed to discuss in one chat, because we talked a little bit about audience this and that here and there, but I wanted to make sure that this is like one of the things that you can't leave out, like an ingredient, like when you're creating brownies or you're cooking something or what, you don't want to leave it out. Now, some things you can't leave out when you're cooking, you can substitute it, but it's still not the same. But this is one of the things you don't want to leave out. It's imperative that you do this, that you know it. Now, there's levels of, how deep do you want to go with the knowledge? And that's when you get into demographics, psychographics, all of those things. You can get really involved with this, but, know that you have to know your audience is what I want to get across to you guys today. So, but thank you everybody for participating, for, your comments, your questions. The chat is lovely. We were talking your time. We were talking about dating. Thank you for sticking with us when we tie this stuff to dating or gardening or what, because I'm trying to make it relevant. So how does it?
Well, we're trying to make it clear.
Yes, we're trying to make it clear.
Something that everybody can relate to.
Right. Something that everybody can relate to, that you can understand, that you don't have to have a degree and go, oh, what are these acronyms? What are these things? What is this, that? Well, okay, we're going to talk about it here and explain it all so you understand and you know what to do. That's what we're doing. So thank you, everybody. Again, this topic is one of many that I could talk about, and we'll talk about things that I think you need to know. But if there's something that you need to know, let me know in the chat. Find me online. I'm going to put my little thing up that I usually put up. Is that it? Find me, Terry Johnson online. Google that. Also, here's my social media stuff. Where I am, it's all Terry Johnson online except for Twitter. So take a screenshot. Take a screenshot, whatever you need to do. Also, I want to remind you guys, please share this out wherever your platform, your profile, wherever you are. And we're gonna have, also follow the Biz Chicks, and we have a text for that. Yep. So if you looking to join Biz Chicks, you can text Biz to 33777. We'd love to have you be a part of our community. We are looking to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and take the hassle out of your hustle. So with that, tomorrow is Wednesday. We'll be talking to Coach Karen, getting our money mindset together. Yep. And then on Thursday, we'll be talking Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. And Friday, we'll be talking tech in English. Don't be scared. So we'll be at the same time tomorrow, and we look forward to talking to you. Have a great day, and remember to go to the front of your own line. Yes, bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. Bye. Bye-bye.